kind of hard to find the perfect position for the phone in the car. None of the spots are very good. But that's not really what I want to say. So I'm 1 week out from my 5th chemo out of 6, and I just started feeling good yesterday. So number 3 and number 4 chemo were really, well, I think number 4 might have been a little bit easier, but the amount of time that it's taken to feel good. The first 2, it took about 7 to 10 days. And then the second 2, it really took 10 to 14 days. I really started getting my appetite back, and food started tasting good, and I'm craving things, and it's such a relief. I mean, it's really hard to eat something and have it taste bad, you know? I mean, like, our sense of smell and our sense of taste are so closely related. So there's just, I mean, it's hard to imagine unless you go through it, but when you have your whole like digestive system compromised and everything tastes and smell bad, it makes eating hard. It makes drinking hard. Like, I would need to take, well, when I would take my supplements or various things I would swallow, sometimes it feels like I would just kind of get stuck right here, and I don't know if it was actually getting stuck or it just, this feeling was like I had something constantly stuck in my throat. So yeah, these things, you know, it's better than having cancer, but wow, you know, the side effects really are no joke. But today, this is so cool. Even though I have two more chemo treatments in 1 month from now, today's the 5th of September, I think, I'll be done with chemo. So I have the next 2 over the course of the next month. And by this time, this date on October, I'll be doing things to strengthen my immunity. I'll be on the up and up. I'll be coming back. And I just can't express how good that feels. I mean, it's felt like it's been a long time. You know, the days feel like they take forever. And as I look back, a couple of months have passed. I mean, maybe 3 months. I don't even know. I don't want to do the math, but the days have felt like they've taken a long time, and then as I look back, I'm like, wow, that's actually gone by pretty quickly. So yeah, I've got a Stanford appointment on the 25th, on Tuesday, and that's with the plastic surgeon and with the oncology surgeon. And then I'm not actually meeting with the medical oncologist because she's out, but we just correspond over email. So it remains to be seen what's going to come from that. And I've started to eat some raw meat and raw eggs again. There's a diet out there called the Primal Diet, but there's also one called the Primal Blueprint, I think. And the Primal Blueprint is not the one I'm talking about or the one I'm following, but the Primal Diet was started by this person with the best name ever, Agnes von der Planets. I mean, there's no better name in the world than Agnes von der Planets. It sounds made up. Maybe it is. But it's, he advocates a raw, high animal fat diet, and he busts myths on so many things, like why you shouldn't eat raw meat and raw dairy and fermented food. And he's really quite remarkable, although he's dead now. He died a handful of years ago. But every time I eat raw meat or raw eggs, I feel incredible. And every time I hear what he has to say about it, about why it's more important and why a lot of tribes have eaten that way, like he referred to the Eskimos, and I did a little bit of research looking on the Eskimos, and they eat raw fish. They eat a lot of raw meat. So anyway, I don't know enough to be able to talk about it, you know, well. I'm not well versed in it. But I do know that when I eat it and when I eat that way, and my habits are eating raw and following a lot of his protocol, I just feel incredible. So I'm very much looking forward to finishing chemo and then being on the mend and just completely rebuilding my immune system and all my systems. It's been it's been hard for me to exercise. That's been really difficult. And even right now, I'd like to exercise, but I went a few days ago because I was just so hell bent on going, right? I mean, I'm paying for the gym, it's $40, but I want to make sure I'm using it. And I went and I did a little bit. I mean, I'm not even doing that much. I just did some weight machines, and then I went on the treadmill, and instantly my stomach started hurting and I had diarrhea. And I was like, okay, well, that's the end of that. So what is my point? It's right now is my time that I could be exercising before the next chemo, and I just don't feel like I want to or I can. So I'm kind of holding out until everything's said and done, and then I'll ease back into some sort of exercise that works for me. I started reading a book also that has to do with breast cancer and marrying this idea of conventional treatments like undergoing radiation and chemotherapy and combining that with the elemental theory and traditional Chinese medicine. And one of the things I really liked in there was it said that when like chemo is so heating that anything, we don't want to add anything that's heating to the process. So vigorous exercise, or actually really even utilizing a lot of our energy. The energy should be contained or retained for healing purposes. So even like praying to the sun or doing really solar practices it's exacerbating the heating process. So it's more important during chemo to do prayers to the moon and to it even had this one visualization of visualizing ourselves bathed in moonlight and worshiping the moon internally. And so it's very lunar based because I'm trying to offset the heating process from chemo. So I really like that resonated with me a lot, and it's the first thing I've heard that's had me not want to do a really strenuous exercise program, because normally I'm just so young, in a lot of ways. I have a lot of male masculine energy, a lot of yang energy, a lot of fire and vitality, and I want to do a lot. In reading that, it had me realize the importance of slowing down, not wasting my energy, and not using a lot of energy. Like normally we think, oh, don't waste your energy. Like don't waste your energy on too much talking or consuming stupid media or something like that. But really to think just to like retain the energy that I do have, like either by being silent or being still, or not being excessive in a lot of ways. That feels like a really deep teaching for me. I'm also I have an appointment with a therapist who does EMDR, and that's been something that's kind of been in my orbit around me recently and in the last year or two. It's something I felt drawn toward. I actually don't know a lot about it, but I think the E is emotional and the R is release of EMDR. So I've never gone to therapy or anything like that. I guess one time I went to marriage counseling. A couple of times I went to marriage counseling, and that was related to marriage stuff. But I've never gone to any kind of personal therapy for myself because I've never really felt like I've needed it or wanted it. And some of the education and learnings that I've come across over time is really not focused on our past and healing traumas and healing things like that. It has more to do with creating the life you want right now and leaving the past in the past. So I'm just curious because I want to know if there's anything there. I mean, the most traumatic events of my life really took place when my daughter was really young and going through difficulty in our family during that time. And I think that there's still some reparations I need to do with myself internally, and all this to say that I just want to look at the emotional component of having cancer, because I really looked a lot at the physical, and some at the mental and some at the spiritual, and think that there's also an emotional component. So I'm going to see what EMDR is about. I did go one time and I needed to find somebody new, so I'm going now to somebody. So I'm hoping that something comes of it. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. And then also yesterday I had an interview to become a CASA, which is a court-appointed special, I think it is, special advocate. And basically it's somebody who represents children who are in the foster care system, who are part of families where there's neglect or abuse, and they have a chapter or organization in Nevada County. And I haven't been invited to do so, but I think I will be, assuming my background check comes out clean and my fingerprint, what do they do, a background check and some other kind of check. I can't think of what it is right now, but I don't know why I'd have any problem with that. So yeah, that's really exciting. I mean, that all came, I really think that that's come through the gift of cancer as well, because I've taken time off from working, although I am still working a bit, but I've taken time off from having a traditional job because I really wanted to focus on healing myself. And part of that has meant that I've had space in my life in a way that I feel like I haven't in years. I mean, certainly since becoming a mom, so say the last 10 years, I haven't really felt spacious. I really felt like I've been hustling for work, hustling to pay this, just hustling, you know. I really relate to feeling like a hustler. And now I've had time to, I've had time and I've had space. And part of that, so I saw the poster on the wall and it was to become a CASA. I never even had heard of such a thing, but right when I read that, being a representation and being a voice for underprivileged kids, or it's not really underprivileged kids, but it's kids that are in a family dynamic that's hurtful for them. So the court has become involved, and they need representation, they need an advocate, they need a voice for themselves, and that's who CASA volunteers are. And right when I saw that poster, I was like, oh, wow, this fulfills a lot for me. And I don't think I would have done it. Ah! What the heck was that? Oh my God. Something insane just happened in my car and it smells bad. Holy crap. Okay, well, I don't think I would have done it in the past because something like a fuse blew or something and it smells. So anyway, because I don't think I would have had the time, because I just always was working so hard to do one thing or another, like work or help my kid with her homework or whatever the case is. So I've said it before, but cancer has been a really big gift for me. And it's easy to say that now because I had the ultrasound and look, my hair's growing sort of. I had the ultrasound and it's come back. Ah! Oh my God, oh, that's what's going on. Okay. Yikes. Oh my God. Shit. Okay, I have to stop this. Okay, well, I figured out what that was. I had some sort of plug. It plugged into it's not a cigarette lighter, but it's a power outlet in my car, and it just sparked and smelled. It was terrible, so I took it out. Okay, anyway, very disjointed video here. So I'm just excited about that, and I owe cancer, whatever, I credit cancer to being able to make something like that available in my life. There's a part of me that wishes I had 10 kids, and obviously that would be impractical, and very obviously that's not going to happen since I'm 44 now, and I have one child. But by being a CASA, I get the opportunity to be in a kid's life in a way that's meaningful. So most of my job is going to be hanging out. Oh shoot, I gotta drive. Hanging out with a kid whose case I get, and I'm really looking forward to it. So anyway, this is my update for now. I'm feeling great right now. I feel so good. And I'm really looking forward to a month from now. I think I might have a party. I really want to celebrate because it's been a long haul, and I really want to honor and love up and celebrate my boyfriend because he's been amazing, just amazing, an angel and a saint in my life from day one. So it's going to be a major victory. I'm very excited. Thanks for listening, and thanks for caring, and thanks for your comments and for your connection. It really means a lot to me, and it means a lot to me when someone says they appreciate the video that I make. Really, if it even touches one person's life, I feel like I'm doing it for a good reason, and it's fun for me. I like doing it. So, all right, best wishes.